One of the things that's fun about being a professional wrestling fan, in my opinion, is the ability to project, the ability to imagine, the ability to pretend. And when you think about that, it makes things more interesting. You think about the future and potential matchups and dream matchups and what have you. And since WrestleMania 30 is in the rearview mirror, I thought an interesting topic to talk about now, since it's almost a year away, is WrestleMania 31, and in particular, what match should ultimately main event WrestleMania 31. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you 5 potential options, maybe quickly go over the pros and cons of doing it, and then I'll let you know with the last one, the one that I think should main event WrestleMania 31 and why. And you're welcome to chime in with your opinions in the comment section down below. With one of my 5 options, which one of the 5 do you like the most? Or do you have another option that you feel is better to be the franchise piece, the main event match for WrestleMania 31 and why? So let's get going. The first one that I have is Daniel Bryan versus Bray Wyatt. The reason I think this would work is because Daniel Bryan is a top guy in the WWE. He might not be the #1 guy, but a top guy nonetheless. You've got somebody in Bray Wyatt who arguably is the second hottest character in the WWE right now behind a Daniel Bryan. As you go throughout 2014, you could do some incredibly great things with a Daniel Bryan and at the same time do some incredibly great things with a Bray Wyatt. Now, this kind of would only be able to happen if you didn't have Daniel Bryan versus Bray Wyatt a feud for the WWE Championship right away. You would have to push this off for a while. In fact, the way this would probably have to work best is that at some point in time, whether it be off of a Daniel Bryan or off of somebody else, a Bray Wyatt would have to win the WWE World Heavyweight Championship and go into WrestleMania as that heel world champion. And Daniel Bryan could challenge him by winning the Royal Rumble and getting a shot there. Or maybe a Daniel Bryan won the belt at an Elimination Chamber and Bray Wyatt won the Royal Rumble. There's all types of different possibilities. With the history there, and that they have the capabilities of delivering a main event quality WrestleMania match, which is something that I think is important. These two guys could probably go out there and hold their own and be that franchise piece. However, on the flip side, that's a lot of risk. You're talking about a Bray Wyatt, would he really be able to be a WrestleMania main event type of heel by 2015? I don't know, because the bigger question is whether or not Bray Wyatt is even going to be able to be a heel by the time WrestleMania 31 comes along. He's such a hot character and he's entertaining people so much, it feels like if the WWE keeps him heel for too long, they could potentially be going against the grain and potentially accomplish more harm than good. But definitely an option. I'm just not sure if it's the best option. You have the kind of fantasy dream old school matchup of Sting versus The Undertaker. Now, this obviously has a lot of story to it, a lot of history to it, and it's one of those what-if matches. What would happen? So you could sit there and say from an attraction standpoint, from an appeal standpoint, the attraction and the appeal would be there to have a Sting and Undertaker main event at a WrestleMania 31. Sting's one WrestleMania match, maybe Taker's last WrestleMania match. These two legends can go off into the sunset. The possibilities are there. But are you really going to rely on an almost 50-year-old Undertaker and a mid-50 Sting to deliver a main event caliber WrestleMania match? I don't think so. You also have to look at it as a fact of the only reason to be that Taker would even sit there and come back every year for WrestleMania is to defend the streak. Now there's no reason for him to defend the streak because the streak is gone. Now there's no reason for him to come back at WrestleMania, in my opinion. So does this match even really need to happen? And from a Sting standpoint, why would you bring in Sting just to have one match and have him lose it? You know what I mean? So it sounds great on paper until you start to look at it a little deeper. Now, one of the things you usually want with a WrestleMania is maybe that special attraction, that big feeling type of match. And I think one that could do it for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship would be Brock Lesnar versus Batista. This is one of these what-if matches, one of these we've never really seen it matches. So if you saved it to a WrestleMania, it would feel big. It would be a big attraction. You would take two of your biggest stars in your company, two of those guys that have kind of crossed over into other realms, into other mediums, and had success. You would be making them the feature piece, the franchise piece of WrestleMania 31. You're talking about a Batista, and you're talking about a Brock Lesnar who just ended the streak at WrestleMania 30. One way to continue to get that return on that investment is to feature that guy in a main event at WrestleMania 31 for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Now, could you have Lesnar come in the champ and Batista come in the Royal Rumble winner? Maybe, maybe not. Could you sit there and have Batista come in the champion and Brock Lesnar maybe the Royal Rumble winner? That dynamic probably works a whole lot more. Now, this sounds great in theory, and it looks great on paper, to me at least, but the problem is you're talking about Batista and you're talking about Brock Lesnar. We saw the stinker that Lesnar just threw out there at WrestleMania 30 with Taker. You could give the excuses of it, Taker's injury or this or that. The bottom line is the match didn't deliver. It was not good. And do you really want to build your premier event every year, WrestleMania, around a guy in Brock Lesnar who, keep in mind, back in 2004, WrestleMania 20, completely stunk up the joint with Goldberg, and who might not even be there after a WrestleMania 31? Again, things that you have to think about. Do you really want to pin your hopes on Batista versus Brock Lesnar delivering a main event caliber WrestleMania world title match? Now, the next one is a truly kind of dream matchup, fantasy matchup, but it works on so many different levels. The problem is, will the two guys work, and will the two guys work with each other, and will they even want to come back to the company to do this match? And that's CM Punk versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. This would be the chance to have CM Punk get his WrestleMania main event. This would be the chance for Stone Cold Steve Austin to get that proper send-off and get one more WrestleMania match and one more WrestleMania main event. And obviously all the storytelling dynamics and everything involved in this match, it works on so many different levels. The problem is, would a CM Punk come back to do a match at all? Would he come back to the WWE at all? Would Stone Cold Steve Austin be willing to even put his body through another match? Is that something that he wants to do? Is he going to sit there and want to come back and put over a guy like CM Punk? Or is a CM Punk potentially going to want to come back just to maybe put over a Stone Cold Steve Austin? You know, the sad thing is if this match doesn't happen, it's shame on the WWE, it's shame on CM Punk, and it's shame on Stone Cold Steve Austin, frankly. The bottom line is this could be a big money match. This is one that you could build a WrestleMania show around. Would you? I don't know. Because, again, you don't know what you're getting with CM Punk. You don't know what you're getting with the Stone Cold Steve Austin. So you have a lot of inherent risk by building your event around that match. But I still think it's a risk that would potentially be worth taking. But I think the monster main event for WrestleMania 31 and the main event match that the WWE should right now be deciding on and building everything in their company towards next year at WrestleMania 31 in Santa Clara at the new San Francisco 49ers Stadium is Roman Reigns versus John Cena. This would kind of have that feel in a certain way, a newer way to a Warrior versus a Hogan at WrestleMania 6. Now, to me, this works on so many different levels. You've got Cena, who's been the franchise piece. He's been the guy for almost a decade. And here comes this kind of young supernova, fresh on the scene, that seems ready to take that mantle and be the top guy in the WWE. It works. It's just incredible. The possibilities are endless here. Here's the old lion trying to stubbornly cling to this spot, and here's the new lion that's trying to take over the pack, take over the pride, if you will, and he wants what this guy has. The dynamics of this work on so many different levels. And I would also like to add that a great fitting tribute to the Ultimate Warrior in his career, his life, his legacy, would be to sit there and have Roman Reigns come in as, let's say, the IC champion heading into this show, with Cena being the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, and it's champion versus champion, title versus title, a nice Ultimate Warrior tribute 25 years later, if you will. But even with Roman Reigns, when you think about it, with the Samoan lineage, you could even bring in The Rock and have him make an appearance and have him at least be a little bit involved in this heading into WrestleMania 31. And here would be the real chance for the WWE to truly, once and for all, stamp the fact that this is something different and that we are in a new era in the WWE, because for somebody to come in and beat John Cena for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship at a WrestleMania, my God, that takes that guy to a whole different level. If you want to make sure that Roman Reigns works as a babyface for the long term, there's one match and one match only that is going to ensure that that happens. He must beat a John Cena. He must beat a John Cena at a WrestleMania main event, and he must beat him for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. It must happen. I mean, you could sit there and you could have Cena win the belt sometime late in 2014, and then Roman Reigns wins the Royal Rumble. And my God, could you imagine just the buildup and the anticipation to this? Because even with so many of these fans that are starting to get fed up with Cena and the way he is treated and how much he gets pounded down our throat month after month, year after year. Now here's the chance. Here's this new, young, fresh face that's bursting onto the scene, that has all this momentum behind him, has these signature moments like at Survivor Series 2013, Royal Rumble 2014, has a signature victory at a WrestleMania. He's been a part of some great tag matches. Now here's a chance for him to truly stand out on his own, especially keep in mind if you have him feuding as part of the Shield with Evolution now, and then he maybe goes on to face a Triple H at a SummerSlam. You could maybe even have him face off with a Batista at a Survivor Series. You get to that point, you have him win that 2015 Royal Rumble, and it's off to the races, ladies and gentlemen. You found a new franchise piece for the WWE. And ultimately, part of the reason I want this to happen is because I know since WrestleMania 27, 28, and 29 were all built around John Cena being in the main event, and WrestleMania 30 wasn't, I have to feel more likely than not that WrestleMania 31 is going to be built around John Cena in the main event. I would rather have him go in the champion because you get some certainty for the WWE standpoint of, hey, this is our champion. We can count on him. We can rely on him. But then you also know that you've put yourself into a position, put yourself into a corner where you have no choice. John Cena can walk in the champion, but there is no way in the bluest of blue hells that he can leave the champion and have anything happen other than all the fans completely piss and moan and fart all over this fucking match and all over that show next year. So it would force the WWE's hand and force them to have no choice but to sit there and truly get behind somebody else and truly go in a different direction and truly go into a new era. Because make no mistake about it, for all of you that hope that Daniel Bryan winning the WWE World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania 30 leads to a new direction for the company, yes and no. But at the end of the day, they are never going to put all of their eggs into the Daniel Bryan basket. And no matter how much this might bother or upset Daniel Bryan fans, you know damn good and well this is true. You look at a Roman Reigns, he has so many of those traits or characteristics, and you know what I'm talking about, that the WWE values, that the WWE loves. And as a result, they would be much more likely, much more likely to put their eggs into the Roman Reigns basket. They would be. And you know it. And if all else fails, even if at some point in time he became the same type of babyface as a John Cena down the road, at least it would be a fresh face. And at least it would be a new face. And at least from the WWE standpoint, you'd know you have a guy that's only like 30 years old that you can build your company around for an entire decade. As opposed to John Cena, by the time you get to WrestleMania 31, is going to be almost 38 years old. How many more years can you really, truly rely on John Cena? How many more years can you truly sit there and put all your eggs into the John Cena basket? And furthermore, part of the appeal of a Roman Reigns beating a John Cena is the fact that you could finally maybe have somebody that a John Cena just can't beat. A chance again to do something different with Cena, add some layers and some different dynamics to his character. The bottom line is, to me, in my opinion, there are too many potential positives. There are too many big things that could happen. There are too many epic and awesome things that could occur out of having a Roman Reigns versus John Cena WrestleMania 31 main event for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, for the WWE not to do it. It's like it's a win here, it's a win there, it's a win here, it's a win there. It's a just fucking do it main event. Period. Now, like I said, we got almost a year to wait. And I look forward to seeing what direction the WWE goes in over the next almost 12 months. And we can come back to this video before WrestleMania 31 and see if the WWE agreed with me and see if they felt like I did, that this was the big money match, this was the big monster match, that big special attraction match that could also do some great things for the company, both short-term and long-term. And they did the right thing and decided to do something different. We'll see what they do. It's going to be interesting to see. Roman Reigns versus John Cena, WrestleMania 31 main event for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. If that doesn't get you pumped up, if that doesn't get you excited, I don't know what would. Well, for some of you, maybe Daniel Bryan versus CM Punk versus Dolph Ziggler in a triple threat 2-hour Iron Man match for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. I'd probably do it too.